Hey guys, welcome back to the Transformation Church weekly message recap podcast. I know I shouldn't have said weekly, probably. The message recap podcast. We are back.
We are.
You know, I'm Justin. You're one of your hosts. You know what we used to do? We never do anymore. If you ever want to, like, I'm on social at Justin Oswald _. You want to follow me on the Instagram, on the TikTok, on the Twitter. Or X now, they call it.
X.
I despise Facebook, so, I mean, I'm there, but I don't want to be on it. But
yeah, they don't really care about following you, I'm going to be honest.
Oh, wow. They might, John. You know, there's some insightful stuff. Anyways, yeah, I'm one of your hosts, executive pastor of TC, lead pastor of TC. Brad's here. John's back there behind the camera somewhere.
I'm here.
You can hear him.
John's there.
Brad's on social, too. You got to find him, you know?
Or not seen.
I think I think at the end of our podcast it tells people that stuff.
Does it?
I think so.
Oh. Huh? What is that noise?
That's the compressor. They're still
Oh, they're working.
stuff.
Okay, yeah. If you hear something weird, I was like...
We still got people building stuff around here because, well, that doesn't matter. Yep, still building stuff.
We coming off a good Sunday.
Good Sunday.
We had Friend Day.
Friend Day this past Sunday.
It was wild.
We had. It's hard to tell because everybody doesn't fill out a card, but we had around
228 more people.
28 more people than we did the week prior, and then we've been averaging.
Yeah. So I mean, 28 people filled out one of our cards to let us know they were a first time guest. That's a lot in and of itself. But there was 230-ish. You know, you're never gonna have a fully accurate.
And we know we don't have an accurate kid count.
Yeah, you know that's the hard part. So,
who knows how many people were actually there?
Yeah, the official count was 1187. And that's what we're sticking with. Yep. But it's you never. I mean, you put 1,000 people in a room and you try to count them, or in a building.
Impossible.
Whatever, you know, you get an accurate count.
Then
I mean, it took me and Nate. We counted the chairs 4 times. You know, just I mean, literally. You know what I'm saying, when we were putting chairs in. Anyways, it was a good Sunday. 4 services, 3 good services. A lot of new people because of Friend Day. I had fun. It was a good time.
Yeah, we added 160 more chairs.
Well, we had
330. No,
we only have 400.
We had 2. What do we have?
No, we had.
I don't remember what we had.
We brought in
70.
30.
Yeah, we were at 3 something.
40, 50, 60 or so.
And the 10, 11, 30. One of those was full.
It was full. So we have 399 chairs in the auditorium. We would have 400, but one had mold on it.
So we got rid of that.
So we had to clean it or do something. But we own 400 chairs, the regular chairs, and then we have 75 folding chairs that we could bring out. So, anyways, it was a good day.
Good day, man.
A lot of people, a lot of new people. All praise and worship was good.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I know that's why I put that post yesterday. Because, you know, when we say things like a lot of people, you know, I know how some people are. And because I used to kind of be like that too. You know?
Well, you know.
It's not all about the number. Like, is it all about the numbers? And I'm like, you know, it's not all about the numbers. That's why I put the post. Part of the reasons we're celebrating, and if you see all the TC people, specifically staff, celebrating the day, is that 1,000 mark is really hard to break. As a church, you know. Especially, like I said in my post, in a city like ours. There's no shortage of churches, and we have a lot of good ones, you know, so it's not like we're the only church game in town, because we're not.
Yeah.
And by golly, there's a church on every corner. Like, we literally have one right. I mean, I could throw I could skip a rock and break their window, maybe.
right.
I mean, it's a little farther than that, but,
yeah.
You know, all I had to say is,
if I had a direct line of sight, I could hurl a football and hit 3 churches almost.
Right. Yeah. So, not only, and when I say the 1,000 mark, you know, like, it's that 200, 250, breaking that barrier.
Yep.
There's a 500 barrier. Some say there's an 8, maybe it's 750, but the 800 barrier and that 1,000, you know, it's hard. And only 2% of churches ever hit that. That's a big deal. So, you know, obviously, that's why we're celebrating. So, do we think it's all about the numbers? We don't. Do we think numbers are important? We do.
Sure. Well, and you add to that, not only, has God graced us to be able to do all the things we're doing and the growth and the people he's sending to TC, but we were able to break the 1,000 barrier, and we're only a 10-year-old church. Yep. Almost every other church in our city that is over that is old. 35 years old or 40 years old or whatever. So there's something to that too. On top of we went through a transition 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's not a knock. It's just
It's just like good for them. I'm just saying, it's just real special what God's doing here, and we're proud of it.
And we are, and that's why too. That's why I made that post yesterday. It was kind of long, not because it's not all about numbers, but because of the 1,000 people, we also have 34 groups to help disciple those people. We have, people taking steps. So it's not just like people showing up, we're counting them. There is genuine life change happening amongst the people here that have been coming. They're plugging into the life of not just the church, but as a Christian and all those things. So it's just cool. It's so we're unapologetically proud, but it's not all about the numbers. But that's like the old saying, every number has a name. Those names matter, right? So
yep.
I thought I would just put that out there yesterday for anybody that was like, oh man, everybody's talking about the number this week. It's like, yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, regardless of what it is, whether you do a church, you have a business, or you playing in a festival downtown, you get 1,187 people to show up.
It's special.
It's hard.
It is hard, and when it happens, it's special.
Because we got to give out free coffee to do it. We got to talk about the Savior of the world. I mean, what I'm saying, I don't say we got to, but I'm making it 100%. There's a reason.
Right.
We have a real special reason for people to show up.
Well, and people. It's easy for people that aren't doing something to criticize those that are.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Okay, well.
And then the other thing I'll say is, the Saturday, the day before the Sunday, a whole lot of football games.
Lots.
They were counting scores. You know who won and you know who lost, because some people scored more than others. Now, for us, it's not about when people lose. Churches don't lose because they don't have people, but you count what matters. You measure what matters. So, so we count because it matters, because it's not us against other churches. It's us against hell, and we're getting people out of hell and into heaven, obviously through the power of Jesus and the gospel, through the Holy Spirit. But we're playing our part that he's called us to play. And so when people are like, you're just all about numbers, it's like, well, everything's all about numbers. You know what I mean? You make sure the right amount of money goes in your bank account before you pay bills, because it's about numbers.
Well, that's why I said numbers can tell you a lot.
Yeah.
Just like, we've heard, I guess it was Pastor Chris Hodges, but if you fell out right now, we call it EMS. They're going to hook up a pulsometer to you. They're going to get your blood pressure. They want to know what your oxygen levels are.
Numbers.
They're going to get numbers because it gives information.
Yep.
And I am of the mindset in the church world, healthy things grow.
Yes.
So if your church is healthy, whether I'm talking to you as a church leader that happens to find your way onto this podcast, or you go to if the church is healthy, it should be growing. And if it's not growing, it does beg the question, is there a health issue?
Sure.
It has to.
And it could be cultural
And that's
health.
not a knock to you as the leader necessarily, but you do have to ask the question.
Yeah.
Or at least if you're gonna come at me as talking about y'all are about the numbers, I'm definitely gonna ask the question. Well, by God, why ain't you growing?
Because it could be cultural health, it could be financial health, it could be ministerial health, pastoral health. There's
a lot of things.
Discipleship health. There's a lot of ways you can measure that, but you do have to measure it.
And it does beg the question, right? So if healthy things grow, if you're in an organization that isn't growing, what's the status of the health?
Well, and I will say this. I won't name any names.
Okay.
When we first bought this building, I told you about this 3 years ago. When we first bought this building, well, it was actually 2 years ago, because it was right after COVID had kind of calmed down and we started gathering again. I went to a pastor's meeting, a pastor's lunch.
Yeah, I remember.
And it was on this side of town. And they jokingly said to me, welcome to the side of town where churches can't grow. And they were serious. They were like, welcome to the side of town where churches can't grow. Essentially saying like, so I hope you don't expect to grow over here too, because we've been working at this for a long time and we can't grow, so you guys aren't going to grow either. That was essentially what they were saying. And I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
I just kind of laughed
insert,
it off.
John, like insert a meme or something.
Yeah. So I mean, I didn't say anything. Like, I was a guest in someone else's home, so I wasn't going to be rude. Like, I was just kind of like, but in my mind, I was like, you might settle. That might be okay for you. It's not okay for me.
Well, not only that, whoever that was, you were wrong.
Correct, because here we are. So,
and that's not a knock. We're not knocking. We're not better than. We're not better. We're just. I think it is okay for us, just like it's okay for you wherever you're at. When you hit milestones,
celebrate.
Like 1,000 was not even we never set that as a goal. We weren't trying to reach 1,000 people. Like, we never have attendance conversations and meetings about planning and goal setting.
No.
Like, our goals do not revolve around how many people show up.
Yeah. The only goal we do have was that from a standpoint of how many people we can get on campus at one time. We talked about that, where it was like, because we're growing, we need to rearrange the auditorium so that we can facilitate as many
Of
people.
course, no.
Yeah.
But I'm talking
That's
about.
the only time
I'm talking about even the goals we have as a church this year.
No numbers. Yeah, we don't talk about
as far as
numbers like
attendance.
that. Correct.
It's
Yeah, we don't talk about
that's
numbers.
not been one of our goals. Is to what can we do to get 1,000 people in the door? That's a goal of ours. That's not ever been a
Correct.
conversation.
No.
But we do know it is a milestone in church. The life of church growth.
Correct.
So when we hit it, that's what we're celebrating is the fact that only 2% of churches in existence ever reach this milestone. That is worth celebrating. So we're going to do it. And we hope you celebrate with us. And if you're not celebrating with us, then I don't care about you. So yeah. If you're wishing us wrong because of that, then come at me, bro. No. So we're celebrating, and most people probably watching this are on our side, on our team. So and listen, I wish that for all the other churches too in our town. Like, if every church was full this next Sunday, there's still not enough seats. So
not even close.
So we're all in this together. It's not a competition.
Yeah, it's us against hell, not us against other churches.
We should have a song like that or something.
Yeah. So. But absolutely. So yeah, it's really, really cool, man. And so we measure what matters. People matter, so we measure people. And so that's what it boils down to. And God is doing something just absolutely amazing. So
Yep.
So,
And
right, Big John.
We're close to having some what you said, phase 1 of the expansion is wrapping up hopefully soon. Definitely coming into the holiday season, we're going to have all the new stuff up, our new sound system, the new stage with the LED.
Yes,
the whole thing's going to be really cool. New carpet in the auditorium. It's going to be a whole new. It's going to be nice. And then Vision Sunday. We want you to put this on your calendar for real. October 22nd is going to be Vision Sunday. That's going to be a big day.
It's going to be a big day.
So if you've been with us, you're familiar. If you've been with us for more than say a year, you're familiar with the Imagine campaign.
Yep.
We're halfway through that, and we're gonna do because of that, we're doing a Vision Sunday, because now we're finally at a place with the construction of the expansion that's about to launch, that's about to start. So we're gonna talk about all that, give updates on all that, and show some pretty cool stuff. We got some surprises.
Correct.
So you want to be here October 22nd? It's gonna be a good day, Vision Sunday.
Good day. Yep.
Man, it's gonna be a busy rest of the year. Let me tell you.
Man, we were just sitting in a meeting, we were talking about it. It's like, man, October is pretty full. We got Vision Sunday.
I have 3 trips through the rest of the year. 4 if you count Tallahassee. No, when am I going to Tallahassee? I'm not going.
I can't tell you. Yeah, no,
I got 3 trips that I know of the rest of the year.
Yeah, I have 3, maybe 5. I got 2 that are maybes. I'm trying to figure those out. So I might have 5, but I definitely have 3 already in the books, like plane tickets bought.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to New York.
We're going to New York, son.
That's vacay.
Yeah, that ain't ministry.
I'm
trip.
going to Johnson City, Tennessee. And I only know of that because of the Darius Rucker song, Wagon Wheel.
Johnson City, Tennessee.
Appalachia country.
Shoo.
So I'm going. That's for the young professional stuff. I'm doing a talk actually. I'm leading a breakout or something. They said. They texted me about that today. So
that's super cool, man.
The Young Professional Summit. So young professional leaders and young professional organizations around the country come to the summit.
Ooh.
So
that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, John.
I'm trying to bring it to Pensacola year after next. And everybody wants it because we're on the beach. They're like, oh, let's
go to the beach.
I'm trying to do it here. So anyways.
John, are you a beach goer?
I'm not.
I know. You wear too much black to be a beach goer.
I will go to the beach. Like I'm not gonna fuss. Like if someone says, "Hey, let's go to the beach together" or whatever, I'll be like, "Okay, cool." But I'm not gonna go out there by myself.
I will fuss. I don't want to go to the beach. I hate the beach.
I like it at certain times. Like first of all, I was out there Friday night.
Oh yeah,
Friday evening.
It's probably nice.
The sunset was so dope. We were out there around sunset, and it was temperature, not the whole thing. Like the evening sunset, you gotta love that.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to be out there when it's 120 degrees and the water's 100.
No, thank you. Yeah.
I do like it until I'm done.
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm ready. Yeah, ready.
Once I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. That's why I always drive myself. I'm not riding. When I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go.
True.
One of the best things ever was years ago. My mom and stepdad came in town and they rented a room at a hotel there, and because they wanted to spend all their time at the beach, they love it. But like, I'd go down the beach, chill, and then boop in the room, shower, get all that sand and salt water and everything off, and
chill.
AC, yeah, oh yeah,
the couch,
yeah.
Yeah, so, no, I like that.
But I do. I went on a cruise, so we're in the Bahamas and stuff. Like, I enjoyed that beach. Like when we were there, like I enjoyed all that, the water and all that. It was very fun. But I do.
If I'm gonna be in salt water, I want my scuba gear on, and I want to be 100 feet underwater, diving a wreck or something. That's what I want to do.
Absolutely not. Me and Caleb Cummings.
Yeah.
He's got an e-bike too. Yeah, I'm loving this e-bike I got.
Yeah.
He's got one. Tim
got matching with those are dope.
Yeah, they're fat. They got like the fast ones. He was showing me.
Yeah.
He told me so he lives in Cordova Park, a neighborhood close to mine. So when I ride my e-bike, I ride it through his neighborhood. I'm all through his neighborhood. And he was telling me the other Sunday they came, he said him and Tim one time rode from their house to Fort Pickens.
Wow.
I was like, because he asked me what's the range on mine, and I was like, I did 20 miles the other day, and I only used like a quarter to half the battery. So I had like a 40 to 50 mile range. He was like, "Oh, you could go with us." He's like, we've done that once. I was like, to 4 pounds. I was like, wow, that's
this is the time of year to do it right now.
100% though.
Yeah.
So he said next time he'll hit me up, or just because his wife's got one too, I think.
Oh, really?
I think Tim bought one for his wife. I could be mistaken.
Yeah, they anytime I go meet them for lunch over like by their office, they're always rolling up on those. They're never in the car. So yeah.
He's got like a different. His looks way different than mine.
Yeah.
But it's fast. Mine.
It almost looks like a hybrid motorcycle.
Yeah. Mine looks more like a bike, except bigger. Like
John, you gonna get you one?
No.
If you lived where you could ride it or something.
Yeah, that's true.
Sure.
If you lived like close to me, you could get one.
Yeah. That's true.
Like there's
be downtown in 5-10
or like there's someone else to ride with. Like where you're at now, who you gonna ride with?
Well, that's what we always talk about. Like with motorcycles, like it's like one of the deals is like over time we all wanted our motorcycles back. Like we want to be back on motorcycles. And but it's like none of our crew rides motorcycles anymore. Yeah. And riding a motorcycle by yourself is not that fun. Like it is peaceful, but it's an expensive
That's an expensive.
Yeah, just go get a massage once a month or something, dog. Yeah. If you need that kind of peace, Well, this is why I like scuba diving. Scuba diving and motorcycle riding have a very similar headspace, the peacefulness, because you block out all the noise and it's just either underwater.
I feel like that on the bike.
Yeah, I would think so.
Of course, I got my little phone holder. I put on music.
Well, beep beep.
But it's fun. So, anyways, I don't know how we got talking about that, but yeah.
Love it, man. I love it.
Y'all, I've been spending too much money on DoorDash.
I can imagine.
Listen, I used to be like, remember I talked about it like
once a week.
Saturday, no, once, not even.
Oh, word.
But like Saturday, if there's a Saturday I don't want to leave, I'll DoorDash, and my figuring is to do DoorDash, whatever that thing costs, it's an extra 10. Time you do like a $5 tip, I do a $5 tip because it's where I'm at. It's not that much, maybe a little more. $5 tip, and then the delivery fee and the fees.
Yeah.
It's $10 for the convenience, maybe a little more. Now that can add up, but
true,
man. Like even last night, I had this meeting, and I was at this meeting till 7, and I wasn't hungry. We had me and you ate lunch yesterday. Me, you, Nate, and Rick, and it was kind of a bigger lunch. So I was like,
where'd y'all go?
Went to Sam's
seafood up the street.
Yeah, don't get him started. Anyways, it was like a big lunch, and
that's how I feel every time. So.
After the meeting, I was like, it's 7. I'm not even hungry. I'm not gonna eat dinner tonight. No worries. I got home, changed. I'm on the couch. It's 8. I'm like, yeah, I'm cool. About 8:10 hit. I was like,
8:10.
I was like, I probably should have ate a little something.
You ain't had no tombstones neither, huh?
I didn't have no nothing. And
Out of luck.
This is when I wish I'd had a tombstone. Like I needed a little more groceries. I need to hit the grocery store. I need to stock up on some essentials, you know.
Yeah.
And I had
ramen, some tombstones.
Out of ramen.
That's rough, bro. You struggling right now.
I'm out of ramen. I mean, I had like some spaghetti noodles, but no sauce. You know, I was gonna have to make my own sauce using some pasta water and some butter or something.
Not at 8:10.
Yeah, no.
That's 6 o'clock business, not 8:10 business.
Right. So I was like, man, I wonder what DoorDash got going on. I hit that app, and listen, the Rio Bravo by the mall is so fast with DoorDash.
Really?
And it's only a 50-cent delivery fee.
Really?
Bro, I got on DoorDash 8:12. I hit a fajita burrito with some a side of cheese dip. They're just so fast. Processed order. 8:30, I'm eating, dog, at the house. Wow. but you know,
for $36,
you're talking about You're talking about tortilla chips, a cup of salsa, a cup of cheese, a big burrito tortilla. I'm talking about the ingredients now.
Yeah.
A big tortilla,
some rice, some beans,
so a little bit of chicken, some onion, peppers, and some like. We have $6 worth of ingredients here. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, if not less.
Okay.
But
we've been talking about that queso price, the cheese price out of control.
Wow, but it was good. All I'm saying is like that DoorDash, like I like it.
Well, the other problem is they increased the price of the items.
Do they?
Yeah. So check this out. We were, because Ashley's like a stickler about money, right? So we were looking at Chick-fil-A. We were going to have Chick-fil-A DoorDash one day. And like everything was $3 more per meal.
$3?
$3. So the sandwich meal was like $13.99 instead of $9.99 or whatever.
That's a lot.
So it was like more money there. Wow. Then they got the fee. Then they got the tip. So it was
okay. So here's what I wonder. Here's where I'm wondering.
Conspiracy. We're breaking it down right here on the podcast.
The other week, I wanted Buffalo Wild Wings. I wanted some chicken wings.
Okay.
Well, I know at Buffalo Wild Wings you can order all flats and they charge you $2 extra. Through DoorDash, they don't give you that option. But I went to the Buffalo Wild Wings app and ordered through them. And they still deliver through DoorDash, but I ordered through their own app. Yep. So I wonder with Chick-fil-A, if you go to Chick-fil-A and order through the app, you can order delivery through their app.
You know,
I wonder what the prices are versus if you went to DoorDash app and do Chick-fil-A.
We did that the other day. We did it like a week and a half ago, and it was cheaper to buy through their app than it was through DoorDash.
I would think so.
That's what I'm saying.
I would think so.
Yeah, you're proving my point. I think it probably is.
It was for that restaurant. I don't know about all of them, but it was for that restaurant.
Sure, yeah, that's true.
You know, and here's the thing. And some people are going to think this is crazy talk. I like to believe that everybody's time is worth something. Now, I've estimated my time to be worth $100 an hour.
Okay.
That's what I feel I'm worth.
All right. I support that.
Yeah. Well, and you know, maybe I should go less because I don't make that much money, right? Like, I'm not.
That's true.
I'm not making $100 an hour.
Yeah, I know what you're making.
Yeah, that ain't it. That ain't it. What I'm saying is, if I was gonna make tacos for the evening, by the time I go to Publix, park, get out, get the thing, go around the store, get all the stuff. I'm an hour in. That's
a hundo.
That's a hundo.
Yep.
I'm gonna call it 50. Let's call it 50 now.
I like it.
All right, that's 50.
You don't make that much money.
That's 50 right there. Yeah. That's $50 in time spent.
Yeah.
Then I gotta drive to the house. I gotta prep. Yep. I gotta cook. That's another hour.
Yep. You're a hundo in now.
Now I'm a hundo in. Plus the cost of the groceries. And listen.
Groceries are outrageous.
That's $20-$30
at least,
there, just for the tacos, for a meal.
Yeah.
So in my head, eating tacos cost me $220, or I can DoorDash it for $30. That's a savings.
Yeah. I mean, I understand your logic. I don't know 100% agree with it,
because at the house,
I love how you justify what you're doing though.
But at the house, I'm working. Maybe I'm on my phone, but my head's working. I can put notes down. Like I had an idea, so I jotted down. That's work. That I earned that $50 for that hour.
So are you saying you're writing it off because you're working while you're eating?
I'm working, right? So. But I can't be thinking about good ideas for Transformation Church when I'm in the grocery store. But when I'm on the couch waiting on my food to come, I'm thinking, what does TC need next month or whatever. So for me, I spent $30 on the DoorDash, or would in theory cost $220 over here. Man, to me, that's a win.
You know what I'm saying? That's all we do is
all I do is win. That's a win. That's just like people say, like, do you like my stepdad? He'll like wants to change his own oil and stuff. I ain't doing that. First of all, it takes you 15 minutes to drive through a space of one of them places, 20 minutes, whatever, and you're gonna pay your $50, $60 or $100 or
absolutely
whatever. But my time's worth $50 an hour. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how you justify it.
I agree with it on that front. I think the grocery thing might be a little.
Was it a stretch?
I mean, it's that's your world, man. You live in it.
So every time I DoorDash, I'm saving $210.
But I'm also
that's how I feel. I'm not an accountant though. But
as we started this whole thing with him saying that he's spending way too much money on DoorDash.
Yeah, but I hadn't thought it through.
He had to walk all the way through.
I had to walk out the logic.
Yeah.
So he thought this audience was the ones to do it with.
So basically, last night at 8:15, I saved $210.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure.
I love it. Good for you, man. I'm glad you're saving money. No, we checked DoorDash one time and we knew what our meal cost at Chick-fil-A, and so
that's a big markup.
Yeah, it came out like $17 more. Ashley said, "Absolutely not."
Yeah,
she drove all the way to Chick-fil-A.
That's a big markup. I mean, and here's the thing: like, obviously, there's a tipping point where it's like,
yeah, we're not.
Could I just call Rio Bravo? By the time I leave my house, they'll have it ready. Like, it was $8. I just don't. To me, that $10,
there's a convenience fee,
that,
bro. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
no, there's a convenience fee for that. Listen, I ain't going to. When Ashley goes out of town, at least one night out of that whole thing, I get a DoorDash and a text message from her that says, "You paid for DoorDash." I'm like, yeah, I'm not leaving the house right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, the prices aren't getting any lower, and I feel like with the way the economy is currently, they're starting to lose people.
Who is?
Not Justin, obviously. Yeah.
Oh, like people not wanting to spend the money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Well, 100%. So have y'all looked into like the Dash Pass? Like, what is that?
Yeah, I have. I use
it's
it
like Amazon Prime of DoorDash, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
it takes care of the fee, like the delivery fee, and then something else. Like,
so you need to get in on that.
Oh, well, that's what I did. But you still got to pay something.
Yeah, you have to pay like $15 a month or $20 a month or something like that.
You need to get in on that.
But there's no more delivery fees per order.
No delivery fee, and there's like an extra fee that DoorDash puts, like a $3 fee. They take care of that too.
Service fee or something.
That might be worth it.
Yeah.
At 15, do you still got a tip? The tip goes to the driver.
Tip goes. Yeah, you still have the tip.
You got to tip them guys.
We had it for a little bit.
If you use girl math, just get money out of the ATM and tip them in cash, and that's not real money anyways.
Stupid.
I don't know what.
You haven't seen none of that?
Girl math?
You haven't seen that on Instagram and TikTok and stuff?
Yeah, all these girls think that, if they have cash, that's not really.
So if I go to Target and I buy something for $30 and I had $20 cash and $10 gift card, it was free. Because it didn't come out of my account. So they call it girl math.
I see what they're saying. But if you had to go to the ATM to get the $20,
that's fair. That's like if they just had $20.
I see that.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that.
They call it girl math.
No. That's a blessing.
Yeah, but where'd that money come from?
Yeah, right.
If it came out of your account,
for example, I had $200 that I got for doing a funeral.
Oh, well, that's different. If it wasn't deposited into your account.
Never did anything with it.
Yeah, that's fair. No, when they talk about girl math, they're like, if I bought an item on my debit card, but then I returned it and they gave me the money back in cash 2 weeks later, and I used that cash to buy something, it was still free because it was cash. It never came back out of my account. It's like, so they call it girls call it
I had
girl
seen
math.
that though. I'm
Yeah, it's
sure
pretty funny.
there's some funny.
Now that I said it out loud, your phone heard me, and it's going to start showing you girl math stuff. So.
Probably.
Yeah, TikTok and Instagram going to start showing these.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's gonna get real serious for you.
Yeah,
And,
it's
and we didn't mean that derogatory or anything.
no, that's not anything against
if
females.
you're
The girls are the ones calling it girl math, not me. I didn't come up with that.
Or those that
So the girls that are talking about it are calling it girl math. That's all.
girls
or
all
woman
girl
math,
math,
Women, sure, yeah, you know,
or
whatever.
they math.
Yeah, if that's never mind.
Yep.
Nope, not going to do that.
So have y'all been following this Andy Stanley,
No,
North Point Church
no.
debacle?
The
boy.
LGBTQ situation still.
He,
You say something else stupid?
No. Put it on a
you know how
conference.
Andy
Oh
is.
gosh! All right.
He put on a conference.
Okay.
He put on a conference that was billed. Oh, hold on, let me find it. Let me find out while we're talking, because he's getting he got a whole lot of crap from Albert Mohler, the president of the Baptist Theological Seminary,
Right.
which
Albert Mohler's kind of a Scrooge, but carry on.
kind of.
I mean, he's a Scrooge. So, not a terrible guy. He can just be a Scrooge.
Yeah, I mean, he's not somebody I'd want to chill with.
Yeah, we're not gonna hang out.
Yeah. So North Point Church, Andy Stanley Church in Atlanta, put on a conference that was I'm trying to find the actual thing of it. It was billed as it's an LGBTQ plus conference for parents on how to love their LGBTQ kids like Jesus and stuff. So
Gotcha.
parents that may, I guess, assuming Christian parents,
Right.
that their kids are now
Have come out.
whatever. It
yeah.
falls in that
Okay.
category
Okay.
on like how to deal with it, how to still love them as Jesus would, and all these things.
Okay.
But a lot of the pushback is some of the speakers at the conference they weren't all coming from necessarily a Christian worldview. They
There's a
were
social perspective.
They were affirming
Gotcha.
people, not necessarily Christian people like that may be
Jackie
calling
Hill
out a
Perry or
sin and then but still talking about loving them. Like definitely not Jackie Hill Perry there.
Right.
So it was more like affirming.
Why
type
would you
stuff.
have that kind of conference and not have Jackie Hill Perry there like that? Yeah, like
Yeah, so there was a whole lot of he's got a lot of crap about it, and then apparently he addressed it Sunday at the church, and because they're saying that Andy is like getting away further from this is evidence he's moving further away from biblical Christianity.
Got you.
From some of the other stuff he has said in the past.
For the record, I'm not agreeing or denying anything. I'm just
of course,
I
of
understand
course.
what you're saying for the listeners.
Stanley,
Gotcha.
so they did not live stream this, but they have the Roy's report, Julie Roy's, which that has.
Yep.
They're like Christian investigative journalists and whatever, but
Yeah. Definitely biased.
so Andy said, I never subscribed to Mohler's version of biblical Christianity to begin with, so I'm not leaving anything. Talking about leaving Christianity. Then he went on to say, people like Mohler draw lines. Jesus drew circles. In fact, he drew circles so big it included all kind of people that made religious people uncomfortable. That's essentially saying we're drawing circles around the LGBT community to include them in stuff, not drawing a line in the sand saying you're over there.
Interesting.
So, as you can imagine, that went buck wild in Christian world, and
Oh, golly, yeah.
So,
Well, especially, Andy Stanley's been on the rocks for a while now.
Long time.
As far as people's opinion of him and the Old Testament thing and
I like Andy though from a leadership perspective.
Sure.
I think he's a good communicator, and that
yeah.
whole Old Testament thing. I read his book. I didn't just want to hear the talk. First, I've listened to him on the podcast defending what he actually said.
Yep.
And then I read his book, and I liked it, and I fully get what he's saying. Maybe he could have said it differently, but I totally understand what he's saying, and I would say I agree with that. Like, I agree with what he's saying. The point he's ultimately trying to make, I think I can get down with.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think that I understand pastors' need, desire, whatever, to create intentionally provocative statements,
right,
for the sake of trying to get people to think. I get that.
Yeah.
I do that. So I understand when someone else does it. So, you know, I don't fully agree with what he's doing and what he said. Because I read the book too. You know,
maybe too. And some of y'all may not even know what we're talking about, so we won't harp on this
forever
for too long without having to explain it, which I don't really care to do. But had he left out the Old Testament talk and just talked about as Christians, our whole faith and religion, or whatever you want to call it, is based on an event, the resurrection. Without the resurrection, like, that's pretty pivotal. You know, we're based on the event, and his whole point a lot of times was, it's like, obviously the word of God in the Bible is important.
Yes.
But our religion, for lack of a better word, is not built on the Bible. It's built on an event that the Bible speaks to.
Yeah. And I would disagree with that.
And I think that's where you get can get rocky, and you may even run into semantics.
Yeah, I agree. Well, here's the deal.
Because his point, you know, like, Paul wasn't quoting Romans. His whole series was talking about how Christians how do you evangelize? How do you preach the gospel without always just saying the Bible says, or like, how do you talk to someone that doesn't see the authority of the Bible? So don't rely on the authority of the Bible in your argument.
From a reform perspective,
One,
you don't. But
you see what I'm saying?
I do. I understand what he's saying.
Yeah, in a debate, if someone's like, "Well, I don't agree
see your
with the authority in that,"
right?
So you can't use it. Come from a place of authority. So his whole kind of thing, I think, was like, as Christians, how do you evangelize into all that without just going to this? Which
is why I think that the theological foundation of his position is weak, which is why I abandoned it a long time ago.
Right.
But
you also see what he's saying.
I do. I just don't. I think that for Andy Stanley, and that's the thing that's so frustrating, because I know he's smarter than this. I know he's smarter than this. So it's what is his goal in doing this? And I think he's trying to help Christians. I don't know that he necessarily did, but that's neither here nor there. But his whole thing is like, Moses doesn't matter. You need to tell people about the resurrection of Jesus. That's a very small and somewhat not. Anyways,
he didn't really say that.
He didn't say that, but that's kind of the idea. It's like, unhitch yourself from trying to prove all of these things. You need to get in. But the reality is two things. One, the Bible in and of itself creates revelation to the non-believers. 2 Corinthians 4, the faces are veiled, and the veil has to be removed. And the Bible is the only thing that can remove the veil, the Word of God. That's why Romans 10 says, beautiful are the feet of those that carry the good news, because how will they hear unless they've been spoken to, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, so that's the premise to the whole thing, which is why I think his theological position is.
Which doesn't he argue in there that the Word of God is talking about Jesus, though? Because in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, the Word was with God. He's talking about the Word of God being, yes, you're right in the Word of God, but that's actually Jesus, not this book.
Right. But and that's the point is my personal belief as a pastor is we need to be discipling our believers on how to show how Jesus is the thread of Moses and Jonah.
That's right.
And not remove it because it's too confusing for people.
Yeah.
We need to identify how the whole Bible is Christocentric. That's what
I would agree with that.
And I think that he almost, it felt like throughout the book and throughout his argument, it's like, let's just abandon that idea because it's too confusing for Christians. And it's like, well, I don't think that, I mean, you know what I mean? Like the Christians, the Nero's Rome in the the Romans, not Romans of the biblical era, but like, of the most perverse generation of historical times outside of what we're currently in Babylon. They were transformed and the nation was resurrected by the word of God. And I just don't think that's going to change. So I just disagree with Andy's premise as a whole.
One of the best debates, one of the best times he got to, it was him versus what's the dude in Arizona?
Jeff Durbin
on a podcast together, and Jeff Durbin was kind of coming at him with that, and Andy was able in that to articulate and defend his position.
Yeah. Andy's no dummy. And that's the reason why I take a step back from Andy constantly and go, okay, what are you doing here? You're not an idiot. Andy has never said anything that he hadn't thought about for a while. He's not up there just like popping off. Like so in my mind, my disagreement isn't saying that what he's saying is, not well thought out or anything like that. It's like, I think the premise, which is why I think it all really boils down to his theological position on how people are brought to Christ, which is why we're on two different platforms. That's why even Jeff Durbin can like keep going back to the same thing over and over again. And he's saying, and it's like, he's going to keep going back to his weak foundation as to how people come to Christ. And Jeff Durbin's on a completely different rock. So,
well, we also run into, like, you'll hear someone say, man, can you believe what Andy Stanley said this weekend? And he was talking about Christians should just completely throw out the Old Testament. But when you go listen to what Andy says, like, that's not, he didn't say Christians should never read the Old Testament and throw it out completely. Like, that's not really what he was saying.
Correct. It was more in a particular practice that is.
Right. All that to say. He's got himself in a little more trouble with his conference.
He had that other thing he did, was like 9 months ago, a year ago, in the similar audience conversation.
Yeah.
Where he was talking about that, and it was just he's been on rocky ground for a while with some of those people. For those of you that don't know, just to bring clarity, Andy Stanley has a book called, do you remember?
The one we're talking about?
Yeah. What's
it's Not Deep and Wide. That's an old book.
I don't remember. Justin will look it up. He has a book where he talks about, and he made a statement, and the statement was what started up the controversy. He said Christians need to unhitch themselves from the Old Testament, and that set the whole. That really
is that Irresistible?
Yep,
Irresistible. That was. So
and I've read it, and I listened to it on Audible.
Yeah.
And I liked it. Honestly.
I think honestly, to me, the most frustrating part about the book is I think there are way better things in that book that he could have. That could have been the flag in the ground that he could have used, and that was the one that kind of went.
Because I think the idea of the book is making Christianity irresistible to the non-believer. Correct. And the way we're going to do that is by not doing.
Correct.
Keep talking about the flood or whatever. Like let's talk about the event, the person of Jesus as God in the flesh, that he died in the resurrection. Like going back to stuff that is Orthodox Christianity in the sense of he was trying to center it back to Jesus. It wasn't like he's a complete heretic in my opinion.
And that's what I say. It's like he tried to center it back to the Jesus of the Gospels, and I feel like that's babying the Christian faith and robbing it of something that has a lot of richness to it. With our believers, but. Neither here nor there. If he ever wants my opinion, I'm sure he'll call and ask. So,
and he might.
So, all that to say, we had a good Sunday this past Sunday.
We did. We're still in the soundtrack series.
We got two more Sundays with that.
It's a good message. So if you didn't catch it, please, like we say, go watch, listen, do all those things. Catch up on it. It was very good. There was a good not analogy.
Metaphor?
The money where you brought the people up.
Oh, yeah.
Illustration.
Illustration
is the word I'm looking for. That's a good illustration, Yeah. Connecting the dots a little bit on the point you're making. So I think everybody could get and wrap their head around that. So
we had good feedback, man. And we'll keep on keeping on.
Like Joe Dirt.
Keep on keeping on.
Life's a garden. Dig it. Trunk or Treat coming up on the 29th of this month.
Show enough.
Mark your calendars for that. Mark your calendars for the 22nd, that Vision Sunday. You will not want to miss that.
Absolutely.
We're about to get out of here. Go check out the sermon for real. Like we say, I know it's our message recap, and that's how we recap it, by talking about Andy Stanley and DoorDash.
Talking about things that aren't anything to do with the message.
Yeah. So.
Listen, shout out to, I don't remember her name. My fault. I met a woman in the lobby Sunday that I think she said they've been a few times or a month or so. I don't remember what word she used. Her little boy was in the nursery and was crying real bad. I saw him in there earlier, and he was not happy. And they had to call her. She come out, and she's in the lobby with him. So I come walking by, and I'm like, "Oh, you're better now?" Talking to the kid, like joking with him. Yeah. And she was like apologizing to me that he was crying. I was like, "Well,
that's what babies do."
Yeah, don't apologize. And we were talking, and she, as we're kind of standing there, she said, "I just love y'all's podcast, by the way."
Oh my!
And
gosh.
I said, "Really?" And she said, "It's my favorite thing. I listen to it every week." And
God bless you, man.
So I was like, and I told her, I was like, "I'm convinced no one listens or watches it." And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I just love it." And I'm like, "What do you like about it?" Because we talk all the time about what should we be talking about, and she said, "I just appreciate that y'all are real people." And I was like, "Well,
we are that."
So I get it. So shout out, ma'am. I don't remember her name. Her husband was, I think they were sitting directly behind me in the 10 o'clock service during worship, and then she came out to get him. But I think her husband was in the second row there, directly behind, I think. But I don't remember your name. But shout out to you for being with us and for liking the podcast and watching it. We appreciate it. We're glad you find it entertaining or whatever.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is that you find it.
We walk away every day going, I can't believe people are going to come back and listen to the next one.
By golly.
But you keep doing it, and we're grateful. So we love you guys.
We'll bring some more bits back soon. Something funny to talk about. Yeah. We'll do like a... some type of...
We never did the chicken sandwich deal. We got to do that.
I just feel like that's going to be so easy. I'm not saying I don't do it. I want to eat chicken sandwiches. But
are we going to do
it? But like, man, we're going to be coming out of lunch. Like,
are we putting them in order of good, or are we just trying to guess where they came from?
So that's the question, right? I mean,
maybe it's both.
Are we guessing where it's from, or who's got the best one? Like, blindfold me, I'm going to taste it, and you say that was Wendy's or whatever. Or you just put them in order, obviously, not knowing, and then you see which is better. I mean, I guess that's it.
I'm going to know that Chick-fil-A one for sure. We don't even got to do that. We can move that one off the list. But the rest of them...
surely you're going to know the Chick-fil-A one.
Yeah.
Everyone,
I'm
right?
not... don't even bring it up here, because I'm going to know it. It's like...
That's what I'm saying. That's
but the rest of them... I feel like the rest of them could be tricky.
Let's try it out.
We're going to do it.
We'll try it one day.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do it earlier or a different day. We'll record on a different day. So, like, we can...
Yeah, we'll catch it Thursday or something.
Because once we're done recording, like, I want to eat the rest of that sandwich. I don't want to waste it.
All right. We'll figure it out. Hey, listen, we love you guys.
Yep.
Thank you all for tuning in, Justin. Where might they find us?
Find us online, transformationchurch.com or at Transformation Pensacola. I can remember for a second, on all the socials, including YouTube.
Yeah,
there.
Make sure you subscribe, do all the good stuff. Love y'all.
Do all that.
Catch y'all next week for another week, another message, and another message recap podcast. Later.
See ya.